Hello, welcome to the Manifestation Kitchen podcast. It's the final one of the season, and I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to you for listening. Thank you to all our amazing guests who have come on and given their knowledge, their time, their passion. Yes, thank you so much. Now, this is where I open again our cooking pot for inspirational geniuses who heal the world with food, words, touch, and movement, and so much more, so that they can add their ingredients for our culinary pleasure of the soul. I am your host, Victoria Dioh, and today I am speaking to Rocky Anderson, also known as Nathan Anderson. Now, Rocky has been building transactional websites since 1997, and he's been known as the search engine optimization expert. He boasts of clients such as Frank Kern and Genesis Digital. He also is one of the brains behind the amazing tool Kartra. If you haven't heard about Kartra, you need to look into it. So I can't wait for you to not just listen to what Rocky has to say, but also he's inspirational. You know, I love the guy because when you listen to his life, he's nothing like you expected. And he's going to give you a piece of exactly what his life looks like, but also, you know, how he comes in and just heals people's businesses. One for you to watch. So I'll see you on the other side. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye. Hello, everybody. So I did tell you that he's here, and this is Rocky, aka Nathan Anderson. Rocky, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So we haven't known each other long, and when we first spoke, I was just completely enthralled by the fact that you have been changing organizations, changing businesses by creating like webinar solutions and all of that. And I consider that as a healing of sorts. And I remember you going, I don't know if that is, but the truth is it is, because you're making people's businesses easier. You're making things easier for them to actually run their businesses. So I want to know, how did you start all this?
Oh, that's I had my first money making website in 1994. So I didn't build it. My roommate did. He was learning how to code HTML, and so he offered to build a website for my brother's business, and I was kind of hooked at that point. You couldn't even take credit cards online at that point. I mean, 94, there was just barely, the World Wide Web had just been invented. So we had a form on the page where they'd submit their information, and we call them and get their credit card information over the phone.
That's crazy. When was this? Because you said you started in 1997. Was this in 1997 or before?
This was in 1994, but wow. I didn't build the website. It was my roommate. So in 97, I started actually building my own websites, and I haven't looked back since. I mean, in 99, I started studying SEO. Well, it's probably before that, but I guess I would have called myself an SEO expert starting in about 1999. And from there, I wrote the first search engine optimization book for the internet marketing space in 2001, called SEO Tactics. And then I opened SEO Club in 2003, and then I started building software as a service applications for building websites so people could actually log into a web server and build a website from the web server, which was a totally revolutionary thing back then in 2004. So
that's crazy. So what was the need? Because what was the problem you were trying to solve?
Well, that it was born from the fact that I was doing everything when it comes to SEO, and I would. Every time I built a website, I did the same exact things over and over again to build a perfectly optimized website, right? And so I'm like, I should put that into a machine that just does all the things the way I want them done and builds the website very quickly. And so I built built that for myself. And then I showed it to a few people, and they just flipped out. And they're like, I want that so bad. So I re-engineered it to be actually usable by the public, because for me, it was just a command line entry thing, and I would enter my stuff and it would build the website. But I made it pretty and released it to the public in October 2004. It was called MetaWebs. And it would build the framework of a website based on keywords for each individual page. And then it would put meta search results on the page someplace to help it with search engine rankings. And then you would just fill in your content on each page, and it would build it and upload it to your web server. And people discovered that these websites ranked really super good, and you could make them really super fast. And people made an enormous amount of money using my tool.
Bet.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of all this stuff. And that's 2004. I did 3 different applications like that. And the last one was in 2010.
Wow.
Then I started doing consulting. So
we're going to talk about the consulting, because you've got some really well-known clients, which I'm really, again, impressed by. And and when I say impressed by it, it's more about the impact that your work is having more than anything else. And you're like one of the silent guys. You see all the magic happening, and other people take credit and stuff, and you're just there, sort of like just working your magic. And I love that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here. I wanted people to see the brains behind a lot of this work. So if you were to put a figure on what some of your clients have made financially based on your solutions, what would you say?
I wouldn't even know. I mean, I know like one in particular. I did landing page optimization. Actually, it was checkout page optimization for one client, and it took me 6 months of split testing on their checkout page. This wasn't that they were selling a supplement with a sales page, a checkout page. They send traffic to the sales page. People would go from the sales page to the checkout page and buy the thing, right? And so they didn't even want me to optimize the sales page. They just wanted me to optimize the checkout page. And after 6 months of split testing, failures, I finally found one change that increased the conversion rate of that checkout page by 24.7%. Wow. And it was a checkout page that was doing $8 million a year. So that like a drop of a coin, it was an extra $2 million in their coffers, per year. So that's how powerful a lot of this stuff can be, if it's all leveraged right.
If it's leveraged right. So what would you say to people who are trying to either follow in your footsteps or are customers, so as a business trying to leverage their businesses? What's the best thing for them to do? What would be maybe the first couple of steps that they need to figure out?
Well, if you're not already in this business, I would say pick one thing and get really super good at it. So like if you want to do what I just mentioned, which is called landing page optimization, then that is an art and a science that you can, they have degrees in that now, and when I went to college for advertising, the internet didn't exist, so, and now there's all these career fields and stuff that I kind of stumbled into and discovered myself, So if you want to get into something, go into something very specific and get super duper good at it. So like landing page optimization, split testing, things like that. For if you're a nerd and love the numbers and stuff like that, that's a really fun place to be. Copywriting would be another one you could get into and be very, very good at. And webinars, presentations, like sales presentations. If you're really super good at that, people will hire you to help them build their stuff. Marketing automation is another one that I do. So building actual sales funnels and campaigns, with all the checkout pages and everything, plus email follow-up sequences and all that automated stuff to take traffic and turn it into dollars. That's definitely one you can specifically get super good at and be an expert in.
So I have a business, Manifestation Kitchen, and I have no idea. I call all of what you just said all techie stuff. And the only reason why I know things about landing pages and optimization, which it would be really useful if you explain for the non-techies out there, I've had to learn that. And then I get somebody else to do it for me because I haven't got a clue. And to be honest with you, all I'm interested in is healing with food and being the healer that I am. So what about those of us that just are not that technical and have no interest in the behind the scenes piece of work?
Yeah, well, I would say there are lots of really great agencies out there that'll do that stuff for you. But it definitely is good to understand the overarching concepts so that you know what they're doing for you and you can help instruct them into what you want. So good general topic books would be good to go after, or videos on YouTube. Problem is that there's so much stuff out there that is authored by people who don't know what they're talking about. That it's really kind of a bummer to just go to YouTube and search for something and see if you can find it. And it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean it's really good if it comes up first in YouTube. It just means they were really good at optimizing their video, so it's difficult. So definitely go for experts, and ask them what they recommend when it comes to information like that. And you can find good overview type stuff, usually for cheap or free,
Yeah. So when I look for experts, I try and look for people who have got quite a lot of views and they've had quite a lot of consistent content. Is that the best way to look for an expert, or is there another way?
That's a good way.
Yes.
You'll never find me like that.
No.
Because I don't do any of that stuff.
True. So how do we find you apart from going to your Facebook page? If we were going to see
everybody, all my business is by referral. So I have happy clients and they say, oh, you need to go hire this guy's agency is really good. I've never had to do anything else but that. So it's, I'm kind of lazy when it comes to promoting myself. So, and I think you'll find that that's kind of common with some of us, but guys like Frank Kern, though, obviously have figured out how to be a very big presence in the market as well as being a top expert, So
he's one of your client. He's one of your clients, right? He's one of your clients. And before we actually get onto Frank Kern, one of the things I've realized as a business, having to get my techie sorted out, is I've really had to learn what I wanted to do, what I was trying to achieve, and to be able to just focus on one area first and what that looks like, so that when I was conversing with the expert, the instructions were clear. Because at the end of the day, all they're doing is building with your instructions. So if you say to them, put the front door at the back, then that's what they're going to do, because that's based on your instructions. So I've really learned how to be able to have proper conversations, proper instructive conversations with the team so that they can create something that I really can benefit from. Would you say that's a good way to approach this?
Absolutely. That's the number one thing I recommend to people, is that you really, when it comes to doing something online, marketing wise, is to always start at the end. And start with what do you want to accomplish? What is your goal? Have it be an actual concrete goal, and what does that look like, and what would be the optimal outcome of this endeavor if there were no obstacles and no, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want that to look like? And then you can shoot for that as a goal. And that there's going to be plenty of obstacles. Don't think about them at the start, encounter them along the way, and start with the end in mind. And it works that way when you're actually building something as well. Like you start by building the last thank you page, the last success page where you want them to end up. That's where you start, and then you build it backwards. And that's the easiest way to do it and the quickest way to do it, actually. So
almost like process re-engineering and stuff. It's like you just go all the way back and stuff. So yeah. Really useful.
So if you want to have a concrete goal, like I want to get people scheduled to talk to me on the phone. You know,
Yes.
I want my ideal prospect to be scheduled on my calendar app, and I just talk to them one after the other and close deals. You know, that would be one goal where you can say, I want to sell this course, and I want to sell as much of this course as I can possibly sell. You know, then that can be your goal as well. But know what that is. Know what that very specific goal is.
Very good advice. Very, very good advice. Thank you so much. So let's talk about Frank Kern. He is one of your clients, and he is very well known. And for you to be able to consider him as one of your clients, amongst quite a number of others, actually, he's not your only client. You've got like Genesis Digital and quite a few others. How would you say your agency has transformed his business?
Well, what I do for Frank is he has a lot of clients of various levels of experience and knowledge when it comes to online marketing, and I'm there to help all of them accomplish their goals when it comes to the actual implementation of their campaigns. So I run a weekly kind of Q&A with all of his clients, and they come in and I help them get unstuck when it comes to implementing their tech. And I do that all week, but I specifically on one webinar as well. But that's what I do for him. I help his clients. So I don't directly help him do any marketing. He doesn't need my help.
Sure.
I help all of his clients.
You've got to be good to sort of like help his clients though. And that's a lot of clients, because Frank is, if you go on Facebook and you haven't seen Frank on some adverts or the other, then you must be sleeping, because he is everywhere. And, so he must have several thousands of clients and what have you. So you must be very busy.
Yeah, that keeps me pretty busy on that side. I'd say, he probably has hundreds of clients. Yeah.
Wow. So then we move on to, so one of the things that really intrigued me, and you modestly and correctly corrected me when I said, oh, that you're also involved in Kartra. And you said, well, hang on, I'm involved in one element of it, not the whole of it. But either way, whatever your involvement is, I'm using Kartra for my business. I think it's phenomenal. And when you speak to the experts, when I say experts, I mean people who have got multi-million-pound businesses on Kartra right now, they swear by it. How did you get involved in Kartra? And tell us what it is as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess the story would be that I was working as the brand manager for Genesis Digital for Webinar Jam and EverWebinar, which was their first product set. And so I was responsible for getting their brand out all over the internet and doing a lot of marketing for them. And they decided to build Kartra because everything out there on the internet available was just inadequate for what we wanted to do. And so in the process of building Kartra, we implemented Kartra as a solution, as a sales solution for Webinar Jam and EverWebinar. It was to sell that product. And what Kartra does is it handles all of your marketing automation. So you can have a shopping cart in there and sell products from it. You can have an email follow-up series or sequences and automations that handle your prospects and take them through the entire sales process campaigns. I don't like to use the word funnels because what you can do with Kartra is far more complex than just a simple funnel. And they're campaigns really. And then you can also do membership sites. You can do video hosting. So all your sales videos, and they have special features that are just for video hosting for sales. There's an affiliate module, so you can have affiliates promote your product and pay them commissions and stuff. There's a help desk system, so you can offer a help desk to your customers. It's just everything that you need to run an online business all in one interconnected package, so that your customers can be handled across all those different solutions seamlessly. You don't have to go out and buy 18 different apps and hook them all up together and hope they work. It's everything all integrated in one marketing solution. So and we developed that, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of frustration getting that thing to the point where it is, and it was a very good process. It's an amazing application. So, and I just still work for Genesis Digital, on a limited basis. So I help them with a number of different things, but mostly running the Q&A sessions, their webinars. I run their webinars and help their clients. So if you ever go to a Kartra Q&A, you'll see me on there, or a Webinar Jam Q&A. I go to those too. So.
Well, I'm just super chuffed that I know you because I'm not technical at all. And I actually recently had someone set up my Kartra for me, and it's wonderful. One thing that I will say is that it really helps you to save on all those other apps. So for example, I think I have about maybe 5 or 6 apps that I no longer need because of Kartra. And it's so worth the money that you're paying for it and what have you. So even without those, it's like just having it on Kartra, and it looks so professional. I love being able to, what's the word? How do I do it? If I create a page or something, and you can tell I'm not technical at all, right? So if I put something in that I'm trying to do a launch, and just by using the link, when somebody opens it, it's neat and tidy, and it looks professional, it looks presentable, and I'm not having to figure out whether one tool is talking to another. It's just really straightforward. So well done, you and the team.
And it was designed and created by marketers, so that it's very good at marketing and selling stuff. And that's why it looks so as clean and simple as it is, because clean and simple is what gets out of the way of the sales process. Complicated websites don't sell very well at all. You need
no. I think it's wonderful. So for businesses as well. So what's next for businesses? Because Kartra, I only heard about Kartra probably about 6 months ago, and I'm sure it's been around for a while, but only recently have a lot of businesses who use other platforms moving over to Kartra, which is good news. But what else, or how could Kartra be better for us? What else are you working on, do you think, on Kartra that you think, oh my God, you haven't seen this and this is coming? Could you tell us that? Without being?
Well, I'm not privy to what's going on in the development team. I mean, there is if you go to home.kartra.com/request, there's a Trello board where all the different feature requests are listed and people vote on them, which is really cool. So if you want a certain feature added to Kartra, you can request it there and vote up ones that are already on the board. And that they develop what's next on the list, and they just regularly come out with new features that way. So you can see what's coming up just by going to that board.
That's amazing. Yeah. So from your perspective, because you've been doing this for a while now, you've been working on webinars, solutions to heal businesses, I'd like to call it, for a while. What else can you see coming up in the future? Not necessarily, not with Kartra, but just in general, sort of like, what would you like to see? What solution would you like to see resolved in our current world in businesses?
Well, I don't have any great, need that I think that someone should make a product for. I think right now we have a really big need for guidance. That there are just enormous numbers of businesses coming online that were formerly brick and mortar type businesses and are moving to the internet because of the whole pandemic situation, and that trend just has continued, even though things are kind of calming down a little bit from the pandemic and everything. It's just that there are so many people out there doing online video webinars, things like that, and they just don't know how to do that well, and so I think there's a big need for people to help with that, and not just put out like courses or whatever, but actually get hands-on with people and help them build their stuff. So I'd say if you know how to do all that kind of stuff, then it'd be a good idea to tell the world.
Tell the world. Yeah. So if you're out there, please come and tell the world. And, our webinars, do you think webinars are still needed, or do you think they're still valuable in the world?
Yeah, well, they're more valuable than they've ever been. I mean, everybody knows what Zoom is now, right? Because everybody had to figure out how to do Zoom meetings during the pandemic because they couldn't meet in person anymore. All these different live seminars and conferences that I used to go to, they all had to figure out how to pivot and actually put themselves online. And I think a lot of people have actually figured that stuff out. But it takes a really special set of skills. I've got a very special set of skills to actually make those things sell. I mean, having an online meeting is one thing, or a conference or whatever. There's not a big problem with doing that, but actually running those things to where they actually produce results on the marketing side is definitely lacking out there. So people know how to have a Zoom meeting. They don't know how to run a profitable sales webinar. So,
okay. And how can that be resolved, Rocky?
You got to read my book.
We're going to come and read your book. Is that sort of like, do you want to tell us about the book?
Well, and that's this whole pandemic thing. It provided me with a lot of new clients and a lot of different types. I used to just do really high-end clients, that were 7 figures and above. And because, just that's where I could have the most impact. But there was just been tons of new people getting online that need help that are well below that. And so I find myself, and working with Frank's clients as well, I find myself repeating the same stuff over and over again, right? When I'm working with people on their stuff. And so I finally said, I should just write all this stuff down into a framework I can hand somebody. And then I realized, actually, that's a book. So I'll just write a book.
And you called it "Read This If You Want" webinars that sell.
Yeah.
It's just like straight to the point.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're in marketing, you got to tell people exactly what you got and what you want them to do,
Yeah. No, I hear that, because it's true though. It's like, and I've been there where you sort of like, you either run a webinar or you put something out there and nobody buys. And you're like, and then you try again, and then gradually you do start selling. But there must be an easier, more seamless way for that to happen, right? And what have you? So.
And without looking all salesy or whatever, without looking like you're just some huckster that's selling a used car, I mean, that's how a lot of the different courses out there teach people to do webinars. And they really look hokey and like they're just, a hustler. And no one wants that,
No, no.
It can work. It can work to be like that and use the blueprints that people have put out for running a sales webinar, but that is not the way you want to start a relationship with your customers and your clients. You want to start a relationship with your customers and clients by actually connecting with them, creating a bond with them, and actually helping them, providing great amounts of value before you ever ask for money. Is you want to start the relationship by giving. And that is the most successful way to run a business.
Yeah, it's so funny that you talk about that, because I know people who they believe that giving is unlimited, and what I say to them is that, look, you give what they're going to take benefit from. So, for example, one of the things that I do is I have ebooks that I create with information that I know my clients want to see, and that would help them, and tips on different things. And
they benefit from that. They really do. And it creates a relationship because it creates a talking point because they love the way it looks. They love the content. There's some humor in there. There's other bits and bobs. And I know someone else who believes that giving time away is just literally, maybe spending hours and hours on the phone on a discovery call. And then they turn around and go, oh, no, thank you. We don't want to buy from you. And I'm like, because you've given them everything. There's no mystery anymore.
Yeah.
There's no mystery anymore. So it's about understanding what giving actually means, giving where you know that you're adding value, but still leaving that mystery so that they want to come and find out more about what you can offer. Would you agree to that, or disagree?
And you don't want to give away your time. That's a mistake.
No. Yeah.
You need to formulate the very best tips, tricks, education, whatever you want to call it, for a very specific person, your ideal client, and hand that to them in some way where you're not actually, giving away your time individually to people. You can spend the time it takes to create that thing and then hand it out to hundreds or thousands of people. And they can get benefit from that before they start the relationship with you without you wasting your time, because your time is your most valuable asset. You don't just hand that out.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I know there's a lot of people that could use that advice, because sometimes I don't think it sinks until you realize that you've given hundreds and hundreds of hours away for free and you're not reaping the rewards of the amazing skills that you have. So that's really useful. So you've talked about healing businesses through all your techie stuff. What else do you enjoy doing? Do you have any hobbies? Is there anything? Look at his face.
I enjoy volunteering for the local fire department, which I'm doing today.
So I was wondering about your outfit, and when you see something and then you think, and then because the last time I spoke to you, you weren't wearing that.
I'm on duty today though, so I have to wear it. So, but I volunteer for the local fire department, which has an ambulance as well. So if that radio right there goes off, I have to leave.
Rocky, that's impressive. I was impressed with you anyway and stuff, and now you've just gone up in my esteem again and stuff. That's absolutely amazing. But it's a nice outfit, that's for sure. That's for sure.
It's funny because, and I think everybody that's kind of transitioning to an online business will learn this eventually, and that's that after years of me sitting at my computer typing and money shows up in my bank account, it's all ones and zeros, and it becomes unreal. It's like this isn't tangible anymore. It's not something I can like build something and look at it and go, look what I built. It's all on the computer, and so that kind of created a hole in my life for something that is very visceral and tangible and all that. And I discovered, volunteering with the ambulance and fire department filled that need greatly. That you can actually make a real impact on people's lives. When your neighbor's house is on fire, you can come help them.
Wow, that's incredible.
What's that?
Sorry, no, I said that's incredible.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to repeat myself, but you've just taken this conversation to a whole different light, because you're saying what a lot of people probably aren't yet appreciating, which is you can make as much money as you want. It doesn't equal fulfillment. And you are a pure example that sometimes you need to go out there and satisfy your other human needs. And in this state, it's contribution to go out there and say, you know what? This is my time, use me, and I will serve.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's revelatory to actually go through the experience of building a 7-figure business and getting to the point where everybody has that list of stuff that I'm going to do or buy if I ever have the money. You kind of keep that list in the back of your head. If I ever get around, if I ever have $1 million, I'm going to go buy this, and to actually go empty that list get to the point where he financially can do all those things and travel all over the world. And I was semi-retired for 6 months, and it was horrible.
Why?
Because that's no way to live. I mean, you need fulfillment. You need a lot of different. The top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is personal fulfillment, and that's what you need to go for. And going for money doesn't fulfill anything. It's a very empty goal to have, to just be independent, financially. You need to actually discover what your purpose is in life and try and fulfill it, and it doesn't have to be part of your financial world either. If your business just makes money and you're making, widgets all day long and it pays the bills, that's fine. But you still need to find your fulfillment somehow. And you can do that through volunteering or your side business or whatever. So,
yeah, I'm a huge believer in actually finding your purpose. And I say to people, don't stop your life because you haven't found your purpose, but just open yourself up to discovering what it is, because I believe that's what brings you your bliss. The money doesn't bring you bliss. Money doesn't bring you your bliss. And some people might say, well, it's easier to say that if you've got the money, especially people who are struggling right now. What would you say to those people?
Well, you don't know for sure that money doesn't buy happiness until you have enough money and realize I'm not any happier. Then you really know visceral, inside that it's true. But I would say, if you're struggling financially, this too shall pass, and just keep working on what you believe is the right thing to do. And, at some point, money won't be the big hurdle that it is. And until then, you just need to put your head down and get to work. And maybe you don't volunteer for a while, maybe you work on solving that problem in your life. And, get your business or your side business to the point where it's actually paying some bills. And then you can worry about fulfilling your big purpose,
Yeah. And also, you're not an overnight success. You started this in the 90s, and you started this before a lot of people who are in business now either weren't born or didn't even know what business looked like. So you're at a point where you've achieved your goals. I'm sure there's more goals that you're looking to achieve, and you've achieved some of the goals, and you've gone, you know what, this is what I want to do, and that's commendable.
Yeah. And it does take a long time. I mean, I still remember my basement was unfinished at the time, and I had this desk set up in the basement of my house with a computer on it, where I ran my online business on the side, right? Because I had a regular 9-to-5 job, and I was doing computer stuff on the side. And I still remember cutting the fingers off of gloves so I could type, because it was so cold in the basement. But I was determined to make this online marketing thing work, And so I was down there in my fingerless gloves typing away on my computer in the basement, while everybody was upstairs enjoying themselves and watching TV or whatever, And but I knew it was going to be what I did. It was, I knew that was my purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice to be able to do that, because when you're running a business, in my experience anyway, I can't be at every event that I want to attend. One of my mentors told me once that saying no to your loved ones is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done, but it's going to be the best thing you do to be able to achieve your dreams.
Right. And you don't have to sacrifice all that. I mean, I would stay with my kids until they went to bed when they were little.
Yes.
And when they went to bed, I went down to the basement. I still had my daddy time. But I might have sacrificed an hour of sleep every night for my business. And that, if it's temporary, that's okay to do. I wouldn't recommend depriving yourself of sleep on a regular basis, though.
No. Well, I've learned that because I'm actually catching up with sleep. This weekend my productivity this weekend has been sleep because so I'm learning the hard way. But sometimes for me, I find, especially the techie stuff, I find that there's always something to do. So you just click away and you can't help but click away. And for every click, there's something else to do. And for every click, there's something else to do. So sometimes you could be up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't realize it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you go, I can wait till tomorrow. And I'm paying for it now, that's for sure. So, yeah, but I'm not complaining. I'm learning, right? It's a lesson. It's a lesson learned and what have you, because I'm still fairly new to business, to be fair, compared to most people and what have you. So, but I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. And it's great to speak to incredible people like yourself. So a lot of people are going to be like, why Rocky? So I can't leave without talking about Rocky. And they'll be like, why Rocky? And why do I need to look for Nathan Anderson and stuff? So do you want to share why Rocky?
Where the nickname came from?
Yes.
That goes back even further. 1981. I was on CompuServe. All right, with the modem that made the noise, the 1200 baud modem.
I remember CompuServe. Yes.
Yeah. And I was on a chat board, and my username was Nate, right? And somebody else got onto the chat board, and they put their username as Nate, and I was like, hey, that's me, And so I'm like, I had to distinguish myself. They were on the East Coast, and I was like, well, I live in the Rocky Mountains, so I'll just I'm the Rocky Nate, And so that was my username from then on, was Rocky Nate. And it just stuck. So anytime I ever played any games or whatever, did anything online, people would call me Rocky because that was my username, was Rocky Nate. And then finally, when I went to help with the Genesis Digital and do the brand manager thing for Genesis Digital, Andy Jenkins said, and I've known Andy. I knew Andy for many years before that. But he said, we've got 3 Nathans at the company, so you need to go by a nickname because it's just too confusing. And he says, what's your nickname? And I said, well, the only nickname I have would be Rocky, because that's what everybody calls me playing video games or whatever. He's like, fine, your name's Rocky. And from then on, that was 2016, I think. From then on, everybody's called me Rocky for some reason. Even though I love it. I left working full time for Genesis Digital years ago, So
I love it.
Stuck.
Well, you want to hear something funny? So every time I look for our messages to each other, I always look for Rocky, and I can never find Rocky because your name's not Rocky. So I'm always there going, God, what was and I'm always typing going Rocky. I'm like, where's Nathan? So I
didn't mean to be. It was meant to be less confusing back when it happened. So sorry.
No, but it's just something that makes me chuckle every time I look for our messages to each other. I'm going, right, let me look for Rocky. And I'm like, it's not coming up. Why isn't it coming up? Nathan. I have to always remind myself that you're actually Nathan, and then I go, there it is. So and then I look for it. But it's just interesting. Oh, thank you so much. So we're about to wrap up. Is there anything that you could tell my listeners before you leave? Any bouts of wisdom for whether it's with businesses that they've already started, or if they're about to start a business, or if it's something that they can, a top tip in Kartra, anything at all? What advice would you give us? Something to take away?
We already talked about starting with the end in mind, but also I think with the recent changes in our universe in the last couple of years, that it really behooves you to become really good at crafting a message or a presentation, and that more and more business is going to be video based, online. It'll be webinars, on-demand trainings, videos, live feeds. I mean, this is where business is really all heading. And so becoming really good at crafting a presentation of some sort, or connecting with your audience via video, I think is a really important thing for everyone to kind of figure out for themselves. And so I would say everyone can spend time figuring out how to do that. Doesn't matter what job you have or what position you have, becoming good on video is going to be really great for your career or your business. So figure that stuff out. Learn how to do presentations, and learn how to do video.
Very useful. Thank you. And actually, you've just raised another question in my mind before we go. But do you think that with the world opening, that will change what businesses are like online, or do you think it will stay the same, mainly because you never know when the pandemic could recur?
Yeah, no, I think the change is permanent. In fact, it's kind of funny when my daughter's my youngest daughter's school went all online, last year. I said, "You've seen the last snow day of your life. There are no snow days anymore." And no one really kind of understood that. And I was like, once all the schools figure out how to do school online, they're not going to let you just have a day off. They'll say, we're going online today. There's too much snow. So everybody, we're doing online school today. No more day off.
Poor kids.
I know. Snow days are awesome. I know. That was like Christmas, when they call and say there's no school today. You're just like, yay, we're going to go outside in the snow and play.
I know. And you just made your daughter's life a misery by telling her that fact. You've just literally made her life a misery by telling her that fact. That's awful, Rocky. Oh, Rocky, thanks ever so much. I'm sure I'll have you on again. It's been absolutely insightful. And I hope now you realize that you do heal businesses, and I can't wait for my audience to see this. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. Thank you.